Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Well, we love having Ron Paul from Texas, and I have to say I'm proud to have Representative Michael Burgess from Texas as well, the 26th district of Louisville, Fort Worth area, the neck of the woods that I'm from. I want to go ahead and play a clip of what he had to say on C-SPAN over the weekend, dealing with debate on the type of intimidation tactics, congressmen and women being thrown out of meetings. Similar things are being said by the Honorable Congresswoman as well. Representative Burgess, let's go ahead and play this clip. Here it is.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I ask permission to address the House for 1 minute, revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I also come to the floor today to talk about this $700 billion bill that's in front of us. I use the term bill advisedly because we have seen no bill. We are here debating talking points on perhaps what is one of the largest fundamental change in our nation's financial system in its history. And House Republicans have been cut out of the process. Not only have we been cut out of the process, we've also been derided by the leadership of the Democratic Party and called unpatriotic for not participating. Mr. Speaker, I have been thrown out of more meetings in this Capitol in the last 24 hours than I ever thought possible as a duly elected representative of 820,000 citizens of North Texas. Mr. Speaker, politics is a full contact sport, and I understand that, but it is a full contact sport in the light of day in the public arena. Since we didn't have hearings, since we didn't have markups, let's at least put this legislation up on the internet for 24 hours. That's what Thomas was made for. Let's do that and let the American people see what we have done in the dark of night. After all, I have not gotten any more mail, any more emails on any other subject than this one that is before us today. Mr. Speaker, I understand we're under martial law as declared by the Speaker last night. I think it's ironic. House Republicans have not been needed for a single thing in this House to assure passage for the last 22 months. And today, we're going to be asked to vote for a bill for political cover because Democrats are too weak to stand up to their Speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from New Jersey.
Okay, that's Representative Michael Burgess, and I really appreciate him coming on such short notice. Instead of you having just 2 minutes, sir, I'd like to give you more time to flesh out specifically what you're talking about. I mean, we know they're not letting us see the bill. That's a big issue. But this talk of martial law, we've seen Army Times report that regular Army brigades are being called back to the United States for martial law. I don't know if you're aware of that, but can you specifically tell us more details of what you speak?
Well, first off, what a stirring speech. I'll vote for that guy. Martial law is a term that's used up here. It applies to a specific situation. And under that procedure, longstanding House rules that require at least 1 day between the unveiling of significant legislation and the House floor vote on that legislation, so members can learn what they're going to vote on, those rules are swept away. Instead, under martial law, the leadership can file legislation with either 10 pages or 100 pages of fine print and move immediately to debate and votes on it before members of Congress, the media, and the public have an opportunity to understand fully what provisions have been altered or inserted into the legislation behind closed doors. It's a procedure that the leadership intends to use to muscle through important bills when time is short, which is kind of where we found ourselves Saturday night when the email went out that the House was going to function under martial law so that rules could go in at any time, any hour of the day or night, and within an hour's time we could have a bill on the floor and forced to vote on it. Fortunately, that didn't happen. We did get the bill at 6 o'clock last night, so we're going to have it for 18 hours before we vote on it. So I guess that's an improvement. You know, honestly, for something this big, for something this important, it should be available for public scrutiny for at least, wouldn't you say, 24 hours before we take a vote. And I just got to tell you, I didn't exaggerate when I said this is the major amount of phone calls I've gotten since I've been in office, and that is true. And we're in the thousands with maybe 5 in favor and all the rest opposed. It is extremely toxic in my
well,
in
Congressman,
my
that was the next point I was going to make. If this is a representative republic, a representative democracy, as they say, and the polls now, it was 28% for, then it was 9% for. New polls out this morning are showing about 6% for. You're saying you took thousands of calls. 5 of them were for it, so that looks like hundreds to 1. Plus, it's totally unconstitutional. It's socialism. And instead we have the party leadership of both parties, Democrat and Republican, basically circling the wagons, engaging in a type of financial terrorism for the last 10 days, saying if you don't pass this, we're going to have a depression, and it's no surprise the markets are in free fall right now, and then they're going to blame that on people that called for deliberation when it's their fear-mongering that are no doubt driving down the market.
I think I'm not going to disagree with that statement. And the other thing is the Senate's not going to vote on this till later in the week. So what in the world are we doing having to rush it through today? I realize there's some sensitivities to holidays, and I realize the end of the month is coming up, and I realize there's an election coming up. But, man, this is important, and it's important to get it right. We came a long way. I've got, hats off to the people on my side who even though I wasn't allowed in the meetings, things got changed that were important changes.
Let's talk about that. In fact, I'm glad you brought that.
Made the bill a better product going forward. So I'm very grateful to that. Unfortunately, we don't fix the underlying problems with the oversight at FDIC and SEC. And as a consequence, we put a big $700 billion Band-Aid on a problem that continues to fester. And who knows when that Band-Aid comes off, what we're going to face. The problem then will be magnified manyfold because we're not fixing the underlying problem. We're going to continue to undervalue assets. We're going to continue to fail banks that we've got no business failing. And it's fixable. It's fixable right now within, really literally within a 24-hour time period, but we don't seem to have the political will to do that. We're bound to this bill, this product that we've created over the weekend. And the Speaker, I think, said yesterday, Speaker Pelosi said, this is frozen. There'll be no more work done on it. Well, that's nuts. If it's not right, let's work till we get it right.
Well, absolutely, Congressman. Representative Michael Burgess out of North Texas, up by his main district is in Fort Worth and Louisville. I want to go back to the procedures, though, because we have other congressmen and women saying that they were thrown out of meetings that they shouldn't have been, like Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur. What's happening?
Well, Marcy's a Democrat, and so I guess she was thrown out of meetings on her side, and I was asked to leave meetings on my side. I wasn't thrown out of all of them, and there were some of the working groups that I was allowed to sit in, but you had to search to find them. They were in unless you stumbled upon one, you wouldn't necessarily.
But how does that work? A congressman representing close to 1 million people
right.
walks in and is told in the Capitol, "Get out of here."
Correct.
And I mean, do House rules let you tell us who threw you out? I mean, why would they throw you out? Are these secret meetings?
Well, I don't. Secret is probably not the right word. They were sensitive, and people were trying to get. Everyone's been working under this arbitrary timeline of. In fact, we were told we had to vote last night, so when the markets opened this morning, they would see that we'd passed the bill, and obviously that didn't happen. So, yeah, people were functioning under some time constraints, and even though our numbers on the Republican side are diminished from what they were 2 years ago, you still have nearly 200 men and women who, if given the chance, would want to weigh on things. I'll just tell you, I'm vice chair of our Republican House Policy Committee. I've had 3 meetings with former FDIC chairman, 2 yesterday and 1 this morning, and I mean, it was standing room only. People are hungry for information about what's going on. They're hungry for information about what, in addition to what the bill is, what might be done to fix the problem, or if the bill will fix the problem, and they want to have their questions answered. That just shows the level of concern that is out there. And I mean, I threw these meetings together just kind of as an ad hoc procedure because people were so desperate to find something out. And we had a conference yesterday, in fairness to the leadership. It was a big conference, and they allowed speakers to come to the microphone.
Congressman,
the rule kind of was you could only ask questions about the bill. You weren't allowed to state a case.
Congressman, why are they passing any bill when 95% now in polls 94, 95, depending on the poll, are against it. I mean, that is a mandate from the people to not bail Wall Street out. And as you said, one of the little reported things, you're really showing your, I know you're a congressman, so you're quite informed, but most people don't understand. This is a select coterie of banks using regulators to go after a lot of banks that are being reported as actually being solvent. So really, this is big banks gobbling things up and getting a bunch of free money. Bloomberg's reporting, and they've got a bunch of experts on the last 2 days, several articles saying that that there isn't as big a liquidity problem as we're hearing, and this is really a way to hoard a bunch of taxpayer money.
Well, it's a debatable point, and I have talked to experts who have said we are just on the precipice of financial Armageddon, and I've talked to others who have told me that, yes, it's true, the financial sector is in turmoil,